easy, trust me. Somehow we managed. But I think everyone's fascinated by yehuda hachasid and his tzava. It never comes up about the Rosh Chodesh, about not cutting your hair or not cutting your nails. Everyone gets very fascinated by that. It's very true. He's a fascinating character. I'm not going to go through his whole personality right now, but he lived in the times of the Rishonim. He's from the Hasidei Ashkenaz. Hasidei Ashkenazi, not the Chassid, not the Hasidim that we were usually accustomed to, but Hasidei Ashkenaz are like a German, very Kabbalistic, not Kabbalah that we know of Zohar because they didn't have the Zohar and things like that, but very into mysticism and like priests from Olam Haza. You can't imagine. Yehuda Chassid, like I think he fasted every single day of his life. Every single day, besides for again at night, he ate at night, but every single day it's brought down that he fasted. He fasted 2 days Yom Kippur, 48 hours straight, right? Because every Yom Tov we keep 2 days, so why not Yom Kippur also? Sure, every Yom Tov is 2 days. Why would Yom Kippur be 1 day? So the basic answer is because we can't. It's a big thing I'm saying that we can't do that and not eat for 48 hours. He didn't eat for 48 hours. So mind-boggling person, and he wrote one sefer called Sefer Hasidim, which is a lot of his musar and how to live, and it's very extreme. I don't think most people learn it. It's quoted everywhere. I hear about it all the time. I just never opened up a Sefer Hasidim and learned them. I mean, we should, but it's a major sefer. And he also wrote a tzava, and his tzava is like, whoa. Anybody who's here, grandfather wrote a tzava, anyone in their families? What? No? Anybody here? Like I have in my family, my great-grandfather wrote tzava. It's like also very interesting, like what he wanted. I'll just tell you one, like random. He wrote in his tzava that when our kids, the descendants say, Lo yamesim yahaluka v'lo kol yordei duma and howl, that people who are dead can't praise Hashem, he said, have me in mind. I try to have him in mind when I say it, because he can't anymore. I would say, hopefully my kids could do it, and a few other random things. Like, the Zemer Shabbos Yom LaHashem? That one? Yeah. He says to say the last one. Larach b'shocha lechem chamud, that thing. He said, just do that one. A very interesting thing. So people write tzavas, not, it could be anything. He wrote a very interesting tzava that seems, whoa, you're like shocked. And one of the most famous ones that people know about, there's many, you're just not aware of them. But one of them is not to marry a girl that has the same name as your mother, and for a boy not to marry the same name as the prospective father-in-law. Okay, that's anybody here ran into that in Shidduchim or have the same name? Your father-in-law's name is what? What's his name? Aaron. Yaakov Aaron. And you have one name or two names? One name. And you had a shiur about it? Just when?
My sister actually has it also. Two names, she has one.
Anybody else? Yeah, your exact same name?
Two names, no.
Is it the exact same name?
They're not all the same thing, no.
What's their full names? The one is...
They have one of the names, Sarah, the name.
Okay, right, but what's their full name? How many names? Sarah.
Mara's name is Sarah.
Okay, and your...
Mother is Sarah.
Okay, so that's going to be a heter, right? Anybody else ran into this? Had to add a name or change a name? Nobody.
My brother-in-law was called, not this one. His name is Moshe Yosef, and he was called Moshe before. My father's Moshe, he was Yosef now.
He changed his name to how he's called.
That's what he's called.
Okay, so let's see about this. He wrote in his tzava like this. He says, if they do marry each other, change one of the names. Ulai yesh tikva. Maybe there'll be hope. I guess that's pretty scary lashon. If they get married, change the name because maybe there's hope. So why did he say to do it? Where did it come from? So we're going to see Ramesh's tshuva about it. Ramesh really sums it up. Nobody has any clue, really. So it's all svara, conjecture. Major achronim talk about it, but no one really knows why. So one reason given by the sefer called Pri Asada, he says because of ayin hara. So ayin hara, the same name. I don't know what the ayin hara is. I'm not sure. We find things like this. Maybe it's like people are like, wow, look at them, that whole family, they have the same name, so you know who they are now. It's like a big family. I don't really know. Some sort of ayin hara.
I'll keep it a name.
That's one of the reasons. Very good. Yeah, that's one second. One of the reasons is it's ayin hara. And we're going to see every single reason there's a heter. So if it's ayin hara, it's only the ziva grishin. Your first person you marry is very like min hashemayim type of thing. Bas kol yetz. Your second zivug is not based on that. It's more like your maisim and who fits you. So if it's more practical, then there's no mystical stuff going on. But your first zivug is very mystical, and therefore it's an ein hard to marry somebody who has the same name as the mother or the father. Another sefer called Mechor Chesed says, this is an interesting one. You don't have the same name because then you can't name your child after your parent, because you're not going to be able to call the name. It's like a bizui to them that you won't be able to call your next child, because let's say let's say his wife's name is Sarah, right? And his mother-in-law's name is Sarah. The mother-in-law passes away, so you can't name his daughter Sarah because his wife's name is Sarah, and you don't name after a living person. So Sephardi is okay, right? That'd be a if your Sephardi is fine.
Even if they can name the same as their parent.
Sephardim, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be a lack of. The grandparent passed away, but you won't be able to call your child because of the grandparent. Yeah. Why?
No mother and daughter have the same name.
No.
Mother and daughter have the same name?
I don't know. You got Dr. Sephardi.
No starting name your kid the same name.
So here there's a heter. If the parents are meichel, that they don't mind that their kid's not named after them, you could do it. Okay, so that's like a heter for this one. Another sefer Yad Shol says, this is very interesting. Okay, this is very interesting. You might, at night when it's dark, you might call one of them to come to you, and you'll end up being sheichev with the wrong person. Okay, that's a very interesting one. So if there's any change in name, it's okay. Any slight change, right? Because you're going to call to the lady to come to you at night, and the right one's going to come, not the wrong one. Okay, that's an interesting one.
What a grandparent.
What about a grandparent?
Let's say let's go back to the same as my grandmother.
Your wife's name Stina is your grandmother?
Would that make a difference? Generation.
It skips is okay. It skips, that's fine. Another one is like David said, it's a lack of kibbud of aim, because you won't be able to call your wife or their husband because it's the same name as. It's not respectful. You're sitting at a meal, you're calling the name, and that's his name. So it's a lack of kibbud of aim. Even though there are heterim in kibbud of aim, but generally, all the time, you're saying your father-in-law's name, your mother-in-law's name. It's just not respectful, the whole idea of it. And therefore, if you're makabel, there's a heter. If you're makabel to change your name, the way you're going to call her, then that would be fine. So anyways, a lot of different reasons. We ultimately do not know the reason, okay? So do we have to keep this sava? Bisman Hazer? Yehuda Chasser wrote a sava. Usually savas are not Torah. It's not written in Shulchan Aruch. So you wrote it to your family. What shaykh is me? Why do I have to listen to that sava? So the Noida Yehuda, Yecheskel is here or no? He's here before. Yecheskel is a Ben Acheben, right? Ben Acheben of the Noida Yehuda, Yecheskel. He says a very famous truth about this. And he says that after the Gemara came out with halacha, the Talmud is closed. No one could go ahead, even if you're Rishon, be chiluk on the Gemara. And we have Gemara's mefureshes, not like a Yehuda Chassid. And it's impossible how someone could write things that are connected to Torah. And he gives a few examples. He says that Yehuda Chassid writes a different thing, not to marry your niece. He says the Gemara that says mefurish that it's a mitzvah. There talks about, he has another thing about a father and son not marrying two sisters. He says a papa and a son did. It's a Gemara that they did. Two brothers shouldn't marry two sisters. But the Gemara says that 80 pairs of Kahana married 80 pairs of Kayan sisters. And the daughters of Reb Chizda had daughters, they married Rami and Mar Ukva, who were the son of Chami. Reb Chizda's own daughters. These are Gemaras that come out clearly to do it. So it doesn't make any sense how he could have written this Savah Keneged the Torah in the Gemara. So obviously it must be, he wrote it for his descendants, not for the general public, and he knew somehow with his Ruach HaKodesh that this is for his children, it would not be good shidduchim for his kids. But for all of us, why should we follow? We follow the Gemara, follow the Shulchan Aruch. So Yehuda was very, very, not so into the following the tzava.
It's only connected the Gemara or any tzava that you have?
Any tzava, any rishon, any person who wants connected Gemaras, we don't follow that.
I'm saying the ones that are not connected the Gemara, that you should follow.
Yeah, it's okay. We're talking about being against the Gemara.
Where it cancels the whole tzava, being that some of it is.
I don't know. No, that I'm not sure about. So he ends his tshuva. He writes, what's his tshuva about? A guy was asking, ready for the question? his daughter is about to get engaged to a very chashuv Talmid Chacham, and they don't know if he should do the shidduch because the chas has the same name as him. That's his question. So Yehuda goes crazy. He says, it's a Gemara Mefresh is not to marry Namaritz. And nobody asked that question. They marry their daughters after Amaratzim all the time. You're supposed to marry to Talmid Chacham. Finally marrying a Talmid Chacham. You ask me Yehuda Chazid Sava about not marrying the same name? Of course you should. Of course you should. It's worse to marry Namaritz that doesn't have the name. Like he's very upset. It's very chashuv to marry Talmid Chacham. So he says, go ahead with the shidduch. It's not a problem. The Chassam Sofer also said not to be chayshish. He says not mention in Shas or Peiskim.
Only about this one.
What? Yeah, this one, we're talking about this one because it's Keneged Gemaras. Yeah. A lot of them are not. But
It have to be a connected.
where? We're talking about this one that's Keneged the Gemara.
No, I'm saying you can find another problem.
I understand, but this is the shidduch that he has right now. And also he questions if Yehuda Chassid really wrote it. Okay, that's now gets into the whole question. Did he actually author this Sava? And that causes problems. However, a lot of Rishonim say he did. Rabbeinu Yeruchim, the Rekeach was a big Talmud of his, the Orchos Chaim, they all said he wrote it, and it's legit. There's another truth of Chassam Sofer. This is very important, this one. It's a general rule about a lot of these mysticism stuff. Chassam Sofer says these things are very tully, they're very connected to kpeda. How makbara, how sensitive are you? If you're not sensitive, it won't affect you. You ever like ba'ayin hara, like the more you think about it, the more it's like a thing by you, then it will affect you, but if not, it won't? Anyone ever heard that concept? Yes. So the same type of idea. If you're like creeped out and like, oh, there's a thing about not marrying, so then it's creeped out for you. But if you're like, the Gemara says it's fine, like I don't know what this hachasid thing, so then it won't affect you. It's very interesting. If you don't feel it affects you, it's very personal, and it won't affect you. What? No, I don't know. It's like random.
Why are we
What? What do you mean? Who is the son? Because usually if you wrote this to your kids, it's probably a good thing to do for everyone.
We find this anywhere else.
Sava means I want you to do this. Don't do this. That's what we just spoke about. We spoke before. We spoke about some people hold just this kid, some people hold this to everyone now. Yeah.
We have this anywhere else that it's telling anxiety levels if they're.
Yeah. Ein hara is the concept of anxiety.
So if a person doesn't care about Ein hara, then it won't affect them.
Yeah, again, there's other inyan of Ein hara, but that's one of the things people say. If you're like very nervous about it, it might affect you more. Yeah. What?
These days, should someone be back there?
Oh, so we're going to halach l'maisi. You want halach l'maisi? The chachmas adam, who's a major pasuk we know in these same as the Chai Adam, he said it only applies if it's 3 generations. Okay, so there's a father whose name is Reuven, let's say. His daughter marries someone named Reuven. That's okay. Just if they have a daughter, you can't marry another Reuven. It's only 3 generations. He said whoever doesn't realize this is mistaken. Everyone's busy with this, the chachmas adam. And he says you're mistaken if you don't keep, if you think it's a problem. It's only 3 generations, which is very random for that to happen, and therefore it's fine. Lamaisa, most places do not go to chachmas adam, even though he's a major placer.
I'm afraid I lose the first 2.
I don't know. Yeah, could be fakir. You go for it. Yeah. Halacha lamaisa. What's the story? So a lot of achronim say lechatchila you should be careful. Again, these are things we're like more nervous about these type of things. Lechatchila you should be careful. However, if you change any name, if any name is different, it's fine. So, Yisrael said, what's your?
My husband's Devorah, my sister's name is Devorah. I took that from Mishmor, I said to take the name Devorah, it's fine.
You didn't even, some people you don't even have to because the whole name is.
Oh,
So they made a change there. As long as there's differences in the name is fine. Pronunciation that people hold makes a difference. We'll see the Ramesha like this. If it's a different way you're called, any slight change, halach l'maisa seems to be okay. Even though people still might be nervous, but it sounds. How do you change the name? Some people hold you go to 3 rabbanim, and you change it officially, and you should wait 30 days before you make the shidduch. Okay, there's an innovating 30 days before you do it. From the name change. I think get engaged. Like make the shidduch. I don't know. Maybe it's married. I'm not sure.
More common than dairy.
I'm not sure. I don't think our engagement, but like if you read it tonight or something, there's some sort of connection. Some people say change any name. The parents or the chas or kala. It doesn't make a difference. Other achronim say it's the main things on the chas and kala. They should change their names, not the parents. Okay, so pretty much any name change will help you out over here. Oh, nickname is also considered. We'll see in Ramesha is enough of a change. If they're called something different, it could be a difference of a name. Other people held not like that. Other people say it doesn't go by nicknames. What?
Nicknames are real people.
Yeah, because some of the reasons are you might call them by that thing. It's a bizui. It depends what the reason is. So that could be some of the factors.
What about sharing the same nickname with a different name, like Eliezer and Arel? Could they call them both El?
Right. So that type of thing. I think it's questionable. Some people say it's okay. The main thing is your name by Leda, by birth. If someone is sick, chas v'shalom, and they add a name, those names don't make a difference. So if it ends up being that his name with the added name is the same, you don't have to worry about it. It's your name by your Leda that counts. Fine. If the boy and girl I'll get to Ramesh's shoe, we'll end with that. If the boy and girl have the same name, what about that? That's really random. How's that possible? Simcha. Hoodie? Hoodie? Okay. Simcha is the example they give. What? Yona? Okay. Your mom was Yona?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to worry about the boy having the same name, not the girl.
Right. So if the boy and girl have the same name, the Steichemet said they should change. I don't know where that comes from. That happens. I just want to end off with Ramesh's Shuvas. I think this really sums it up. This question is from someone named Rav Ramesha Leiter. He says like this: a guy wanted to marry a lady who's the same name as his mother. So Ramesha writes, and this is very important, he says, Kasha lahashav zah. I don't even know how to respond to Dover Bar anything clearly. I don't know what to answer. All that the Achrenim wrote about this, who misvar salev. It's from their own minds, these svaras. Ba'alma, b'lei mekar. They have no mekar. Like, I don't know how to pass it. When I think about it, a guy comes through the shiloh, like, I have no clue. I don't know. There's a million sheep. What?
Ironically, both of his sons' last names are Ramesha.
Oh, you're right. It could be he wrote. I don't know. Yeah, here. He says though that this chashash of Rabbi Yehuda as a hachasid, he says, is much bigger concern than most of his other ones, because it's mentioned that the Divrei Chaim brings it down from the Sefer Nishmas Chasidim in the name of the Arizal. Even the Arizal says it, so it has more strength. And he says, if the Arizal wrote it, it can't be just for his children. It means other ones maybe for his children, but if the Arizal also wrote it, it sounds like it's more of a thing for everyone to keep, not just for his descendants. But he says, Vadai, im yesh ksashin, if there's any difference between Shem Yehudis, her Jewish name, between B'Shem Alaz, the English, or her English name, ein lachar shel klom. Means if there's any change in English or Hebrew name, you're good. And he says, it's clear that there is a shinu. He says, look into it. I guarantee you, ask around. You should probably call it something different. He says, look into it. Then he goes on like this. What about changing the name? Right? Big Eitzah changed the name. Everyone talks about it. He does not like it. He does not like to change the name. He says, why? He says, in the olden days, he brings out Chassam Sefer about changing the name. When they used to change the name, it was a real name change. Like you're in Europe in the shtetl, and the boy's name is Avram. So they changed the name to Yitzchak, and that was it. There was no like birth certificates. There was no like English names. There was no documents. He says, now you change the name, you're going to run into major shilas. His name is Avram, now I change it to Yitzchak. Yeah, but his birth certificate says Avram. Or Abraham, and now he's going to be a problem with the ksuba because they are really called by that name and you changed it. The friends, he says, a lot of friends joke around. They say, we're not going to call you by that name. They still call you by the other name. You ever had that? I had a guy come over to me like in 11th grade, 12th grade. His name was, let's say, I don't know, whatever nickname it was, and he said, please change my name. He told everyone this. I don't like my name anymore. And I told my son recently, I talked about my son about nickname. He said, there's a kid in the class that calls a certain name. I said, don't ever call him by that name because you never know. Even if it's not negative, always stick to the guy's name. Always. So this kid came up. I know if it's a normal nickname, like my name is Ellie, Leo, but something that's like a little bit maybe not appreciative, you should make sure, be very careful about giving people nicknames. It's very bad. It's a Mishnah that says if you give someone a nickname that's negative to him or he doesn't like, it's really bad. So a kid came over to me like in 11th grade or something and said, I want you to call me by my regular name again. It's very hard. You might see it worked, it changed. But a lot of people try it and it doesn't work. So Ramesha says, I'm nervous about that because he's going to run a ksuba, and if a lady lives without a ksuba, it's a problem. So he says, don't do the name change thing. And he ends off that ubechlal, and in general, if the chas himself and the kala herself are not makbid, like we spoke about, they're like chilled about this, enuklum, it's nothing. The b'chia gav, in such a case, we say, mandu loy kapid, loy kabdina. If you're not nervous about it, you're not makbid about it, then it won't be makbid on you. And also, he says, very important, this is like, he says, if the mothers are nervous, it's not about them. Don't worry if the mothers are nervous. Because it's a problem for the chassan and kala. They're the ones that are going to be affected, not the parents. He says they have no shaykhs, don't worry about their concerns, and therefore, go ahead with the shidduch. It's not a problem. Have a good day. Mazel tov.
People don't want to see that. Two people.